Hello everyone. Today, we're going to explore a fascinating truth about the human brain, an incredible machine, yet surprisingly easy to deceive. Have you ever wondered why you tend to believe rumors, get influenced by advertisements, or sometimes make errors in judgment? Let's dive in and uncover the answers. 1. Cognitive bias, the brain's invisible filter. The human brain is not an infallible processor of information. Rather than operating with pure logic, it relies on cognitive biases, deeply ingrained, unconscious tendencies that shape how we interpret the world. These biases act as mental shortcuts, helping us make quick decisions but often distorting reality in the process. Small blue diamond confirmation bias, we instinctively seek out and give more weight to information that aligns with our pre-existing beliefs, while dismissing or undervaluing contradictory evidence. This bias reinforces our perspectives, making it difficult to change our minds even in the face of clear opposing facts. Small blue diamond anchoring bias, our judgment is disproportionately influenced by the first piece of information we encounter. For instance, when we hear an initial price or statistic, it becomes a psychological reference point, skewing our perception of subsequent data. Small blue diamond in-group bias, we are naturally inclined to favor and trust individuals who share similarities with us, whether in background, ideology, or social affiliation. This bias fosters group cohesion but can also lead to echo chambers, exclusionary thinking, and resistance to new perspectives. Cognitive biases are an intrinsic part of human cognition, influencing everything from personal decision-making to societal discourse. Recognizing these biases is the first step toward mitigating their effects, enabling us to think more critically, engage with diverse perspectives, and make more rational, informed choices. 2. The brain has limits and prefers shortcuts. The human brain is a remarkable organ, but it has inherent limitations. It cannot process an infinite amount of information simultaneously. As a result, it often relies on mental shortcuts, known as heuristics, to make quick decisions. While these shortcuts can be efficient and even necessary in daily life, they also lead to systematic biases and errors in judgment. One example of this is the halo effect. This cognitive bias occurs when we perceive an individual's intelligence, competence, or trustworthiness based on a single positive characteristic. For instance, if someone appears well-dressed and articulate, we might assume they are knowledgeable or honest, even without sufficient evidence. This bias can lead us to place undue trust in public figures, salespeople, or influencers, sometimes to our own detriment. Another consequence of the brain's preference for shortcuts is selective perception. This occurs when we unconsciously filter information to align with our existing beliefs. Instead of objectively analyzing all available data, we pay attention to information that supports our preconceived notions and ignore contradicting facts. This is particularly dangerous in an era of digital media, where algorithms reinforce our biases by curating content tailored to our preferences. Understanding these cognitive shortcuts can help us become more mindful decision makers. By questioning our initial judgments and seeking diverse perspectives, we can reduce the risk of making flawed conclusions based on incomplete or biased information. 3. Emotions, a double-edged sword in perception. Emotions play a crucial role in our cognitive processes. They can enhance our ability to make decisions, foster social connections, and help us respond to threats. However, emotions also make us vulnerable to manipulation and cognitive distortions. Small blue diamond fear and misinformation. When confronted with fear, we become more susceptible to rumors, conspiracy theories, and exaggerated claims. Fear overrides rational analysis, compelling us to act on incomplete or misleading information. Small blue diamond emotional decision-making, positive emotions can be just as deceptive as negative ones. A feeling of happiness or excitement can lower our defenses, making us more likely to accept information at face value or make impulsive purchases without scrutinizing their validity. This explains why emotionally charged narratives, whether heartwarming or sensational, tend to be more persuasive and memorable than raw data or factual arguments. 4. Social influence and media manipulation. In a world saturated with information, our brains rely on social cues to determine credibility. However, this reliance can be exploited through psychological phenomena such as small blue diamond, the bandwagon effect. We are more likely to adopt a belief or behavior if we see that many others endorse it. This can lead to mass misinformation, as popular but inaccurate ideas gain traction simply due to widespread acceptance. Small blue diamond, the illusory truth effect. Repetition enhances perceived truth. A false claim, when repeated frequently enough, can begin to feel more credible, even if we were initially skeptical of it. This is a tactic often used in advertising, political messaging, and propaganda. 5. The human brain, a product of evolution. Our cognitive biases and mental shortcuts are not flaws in design but evolutionary adaptations. Early humans needed to make rapid, instinctive decisions to survive. Over millennia, these cognitive mechanisms became hardwired into our neural architecture, prioritizing speed over accuracy. In modern society, however, these same instincts can mislead us. The tendency to favor simple explanations over complex analysis, to react emotionally rather than logically, and to follow the crowd rather than evaluate independently. All of these behaviors stem from evolutionary pressures that no longer align with contemporary challenges. So, how can we avoid being deceived? The key lies in critical thinking and cognitive awareness. By recognizing the biases that shape our perceptions, we can take deliberate steps to counteract them. This involves heavy checkmark questioning assumptions, actively challenging our own beliefs, and being open to conflicting perspectives. Heavy checkmark seeking diverse sources, verifying claims by consulting multiple independent and credible sources. Heavy checkmark being aware of emotional manipulation, evaluating whether an argument is based on facts or designed to trigger an emotional reaction. Heavy checkmark practicing skepticism, understanding that popularity does not equal truth and that repetition does not equate to accuracy. By fostering these habits, we can strengthen our ability to think critically, resist misinformation, and navigate an increasingly complex information landscape with clarity and discernment.